Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 Paws and Claws run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be playing the Masochist, which I think is a character that benefits from the pets a lot, and is also just a really strong character overall. It's kind of a funny character, though, because the best weapon for the Masochist is unlocked by winning with the Masochist. So, Spiky Shield is, I think, overall the strongest weapon for this character. Despite the knockback, it benefits from your high armor, gives you a lot of defenses, so you can use your passive really well. But you have to win with the Masochist in order to unlock it. So that's the weapon we're going to use today. If you're looking for your first Masochist win, Scissors is a great option, and check out my guide to the character. But having Spiky Shield as an option available to you means that you have an even easier time winning with this already quite strong character. Any character that starts with a bunch of defenses is going to be really good in general, and this character gets a bunch for free, so it's a very powerful character overall. You'll notice, of course, that we're just running into enemies because we want to take damage and trigger our passive, where we get 5% damage every time we take a hit. Let's roll here. We are looking for harvesting, and we'll take 5 harvesting. Very happy to lock a bag, and then I'm going to ban Gummy Berserker. We're looking for items. Obviously, we don't want to reduce our armor on this character, but we're especially looking for regeneration and early economy items. This character has so many defenses that all you need to do is stabilize your economy, and you'll get pretty easy wins with the Masochist. I'm also going to ban level 1 items here for exactly that reason. We want to make sure we have powerful level 1 items available to us. And there's a lot that are really good, especially things like consumable healing is really strong for this character. I'll lock a Whistle as well. When you get it early, it's a pretty good economy item. And I like the audio cue for the loot aliens a lot. The one downside of Spiky Shield is that it has high knockback. So you can end up pushing enemies away from you that you're trying to take damage from. But it's usually easy enough to just keep running into those enemies to take the hit. Let's see if we can get the tree here. We've built up enough percent damage that we were able to clear the tree in just a couple hits, so we took it out. Let's roll and take 5 harvesting, and then we'll buy a shield. And roll a couple more times, buy a shield, and roll. Lock another shield. That's perfect. Spiky Shield, of course, is really strong because it scales off of armor as the damage type. So you can see 100% armor. So its damage is based on your armor, not on your melee damage or anything. And it also gives you armor, which scales its own damage because of the blunt and medieval weapon tags. It also levels really well because it increases its armor-based damage scaling as you level up with it. As you can see here, you don't need to take that many hits with the Masochist before your damage is high enough to clear the wave. Obviously, we'll need enough defenses that we can take damage, but it's totally okay to just take a few hits each wave. This charcoal doesn't give us anything because our weapon doesn't scale with melee damage, so we're just going to ban it. And then let's reroll here. 8 harvesting, obviously an incredible find. Again, melee damage isn't worth anything to this character, so let's reroll that. Lifesteal is okay, and a little better now that the pets exist as well, because those can lifesteal for us. I think that you're usually better off with regeneration on this character, as on most melee characters, but let's take 2 lifesteal just because it's a level 2 upgrade that we can get really early. Blazemander, I wouldn't normally want on the Masochist, because it doesn't scale with a damage type that we're going to buy, though the percent damage that we get from our passive will scale the Blazemander damage. Given that we've got some lifesteal, though, it can help heal us. Does that change anything? Because it does attack fairly frequently. Let's try it out. I think probably the correct answer here is you should just ban it, get your free reroll, and not buy this item that doesn't really scale, but I'm very interested in trying out the Blazemander, just to see if it actually works well for us. Obviously, still doing some science with the new items. We'll buy a second bag, amazing find here. With Whistle and 2 bags, we should have really good economy early, and of course we'll lock our Spiky Shield. Little muscly dude, even though the melee damage isn't useful, 68 for 5 HP on a character that really needs high max HP is a totally reasonable purchase. Trying to take some hits here. I will need a little bit more movement speed to increase our ability to take hits. With the blunt weapon tag, we lose out on the ability to take damage easily, because we're losing 10% movement speed, which we need to be able to run into enemies. Cursed enemies are a little dangerous for the Masochist as well, because you want to take lots of small damage instances, so when you get high curse, you can end up taking more damage than you were planning to, but I think it's still worth grabbing. We're already at 21 harvesting, so I could roll for armor, but I think I'm just going to take the attack speed here. And then I'll take 6 movement speed to offset our move speed loss. We'll go ahead and we'll buy the Blazemander that we're trying out, and we'll upgrade our weapon here. I'll roll. Landmines I'm going to ban, and then I'll roll again, and we'll buy a spiky shield. Wheelbarrow does cost us an armor, very painful for this character, but this early I think is going to be pretty good. And then, yeah, we'll just lock this entire shop. Awesome shop for us. So, the Blazemander is here just to put a little bit of damage on some enemies once we build up some percent damage, and also potentially to help us heal with lifesteal. There's not really a good way to tell how much it's helping us lifesteal. Oh, I was hoping that that cursed enemy would survive long enough to actually hit us. Nice, we got a loot alien. I would love to reduce my knockback. So right now the Blazemander is doing 2 damage a shot, which isn't amazing. When it shows up for really cheap like this, I'll take the glasses. Range, not very important to this character. We don't really care about not taking hits, obviously. But it is relatively free for 8 materials, and it can matter. Let's take 8 harvesting here, because it's a level 2 upgrade, and then we'll buy the wheelbarrow, spiky shield, and we're just shy of being able to buy both of these. So I'll take the beanie. Increasing our move speed will increase our ability to make money next wave, and this lets me get a reroll in and potentially buy a shield or another level 1 item as well, whereas if I'd bought the little muscly dude, we wouldn't have enough money to buy a second item here. Take the helmet. Again, increasing our damage is going to increase our ability to clear things in the next wave, and buying armor increases our damage. And then because we're on wave 5, we still have a guaranteed weapon every reroll in the shop. I'm going to throw in 2 more rerolls here, looking for another spiky shield. We missed, but we found a 3rd bag, so I certainly can't complain about that. Had a hard time taking damage at the start of the wave here. That's the downside of buying range and having a high knockback weapon. But you'll quickly be able to take hits on this character. It's not usually a concern. I think it can be too easy to worry about trying to take damage specifically and like avoiding buying dodge, making sure that you don't buy range or whatever, reducing your knockback. This whole game is about enemies trying to do damage to you. So if you want to take damage, you can make that happen, no matter if you've bought good stats, good defensive stats overall. We'll definitely take 2 armor here. That increases our damage output. And then we'll buy these items that we've had locked. Alien Eyes could be okay, but I think here I'm just going to use my ban for a free reroll. It's not an amazing item for us, and we would much rather just save some money and find some good items here. I'll ban the Toxic Sludge. We're never going to buy that. Fresh Meat could be okay. Losing a regen, obviously, is a real downside, but lifesteal is pretty good on this character. Even though we have a slow-attacking melee weapon, we're going to be surrounded by enemies a lot, and we've already got 1 pet to use the lifesteal as well. So let's take the fresh meat here. We'll reroll. I will then ban a lens, and remember, I'm banning level 1 items specifically, because I want powerful level 1 items to show up more often. Lock a head injury. I'll ban Snake. Even though we have the Blazemander, I don't think that we're building around fire damage specifically with this build. And then I'm re-rolling 2 more times because I really want to level my shield here. So even though we missed, it's still worth rolling looking for spiky shields. Find some high health enemies that can deal damage to us. There we go. Now we've taken a few hits and our damage is fine. We can use the cursed enemy there that will survive our attacks, and the walrus that's immune to knockback to take extra hits. Enemies who are immune to knockback are kind of a fun resource on this build, because we can use them to take extra damage. Okay, we got a loot alien spawning. Audio cue on the whistle, still so useful. And yeah, because we got 2 crates and have triple bag, we made 330 materials that wave. Obviously ridiculous, but really awesome. Definitely don't want the knot here. This is actually a case, normally I say, if you're trying to win the game, just take knot every time you see it. Even though I don't take it because I'm, recording a video, I want to take cool legendaries or whatever if they show up. In this case, I think you actually shouldn't take the knot, because the max HP is a little less relevant right now. 15% damage is good, but not incredible. But Spiky Shield is a weapon that you really want to level, and our weapon levels are still pretty bad. So there's a spot where I actually wouldn't take the knot normally. Let's roll here. I'll take some regeneration. We definitely need as much healing as we can get. And then I would love to pick up armor here, but with -7 movement speed, I'm just going to take 9 move speed and get back to a positive number so that we can survive a little more easily. I'm going to pass on all of these. We'll take the scar and the plant. It might look weird to buy both plant and fresh meat. Obviously, they give you opposite stats and reduce each other's stat, but when you buy both of them, it just increases both stats overall. Let's roll here. We'll buy coupon and finally got a leveled up shield. And we'll roll again. You almost never want to buy Weird Ghost on this character because you need to take damage at the start of a wave. So we're going to pass on that. But this shop is amazing for us. Leather Vest increases our armor, which obviously increases everything that we want. Baby Squid, an incredible defensive item. And more XP gain is great on this character, so we'll take the black belt as well. XP gain matters a lot to the Masochist because you want defensive stats, and those are usually easiest to get from level ups. So you want as much XP gain as you can get on this character for the free HP and for the defensive stats that you can add to your build. Notice there that because I wasn't able to take early hits, I did actually have a hard time getting as much damage as I wanted on this at the start of the wave, and that made it a little more dangerous because the cursed enemy there put a lot of damage on me since it was the only thing I could take hits from. So that was a case where curse did make it a little bit more complicated, but we had plenty of defensive stats to just survive until we had the damage we needed. Got to pet our Blazemander there. We'll take 4 regeneration here, and then we will buy all of the items we had locked. Another leather vest is an amazing find. You don't usually want to buy crit chance on Spiky Shield. It does have 2x critical damage, but you usually just want to build for armor on this weapon. So I'm going to pass on Insanity here. I'll take the Butterfly, though. Again, more lifesteal is just good for this character. This weapon kind of scales just by building defensive stats, so I usually don't like to build anything other than attack speed and armor. And when you're playing the Masochist, you don't even really need that much percent damage. It is good because it means fewer hits that you have to take before you do a normal amount of damage. So we'll take it when it shows up cheaply. But the great thing about this weapon is you can just buy economy and defense and then still have tons of damage. So buying dedicated offensive stats kind of goes against what you're trying to do with Spiky Shield. So the Blazemander is still doing fairly low damage per hit, but it is killing the occasional enemy here. I think it's kind of an interesting addition. I'll definitely take the Sunken Bell. This is pretty nice for just blowing everything up. This character will usually fall below 40% HP, so we can use that fairly well. And then I'll take some attack speed. Dodge, by the way, you can still build on the Masochist. Although you are trying to take damage, when you dodge, you will, if you want to take damage deliberately, you can just move into a group of enemies, and even if you dodge the first attack, you'll get hit by the second attack. And then it can be a really strong defensive stat for the character, because you're building armor, regeneration, and HP anyways, all of which multiply the effectiveness of dodge. So don't avoid dodge, even though this character wants to take damage. That being said, in this spot, I'm still just going to take the attack speed, because we need it more. I might take 3 regen over 3 lifesteal here, even though it's a level 2 upgrade versus a level 3. No, I guess I'll take the lifesteal. I think we're just going to build both. And then here I'll take 2 armor. Obviously, we want as much armor as we can get on this character. We'll buy all of these. We don't need the glasses at full price, even though I took it from a box, of course. Blood donation is the best thing that you can possibly find on the Masochist. This just gives you 5% extra damage every second, and means that you don't have to take hits of large damage instances from enemies to continuously build up your damage. Also gives you 40 harvesting. So basically the best item we could have found there. We'll take the whetstone. Missile I will pass on here, and then I'm going to roll a couple more times. I'm still really looking for more spiky shields, which we have had pretty poor luck finding, but I really can't complain. I mean, you just can't complain when you have a triple bag run. I do want to build up some more luck, though, so that we actually start getting crates for these bags. Do I want the alien worm? We have 0 consumable healing. If I had more, I would probably take it, but this character is always going to be on top of enemies, so you always want consumable healing. So buying alien worm is usually just a negative. Yeah, so even though we've been building up a ton of percent damage, the Blazemander's damage is still low, because I've reduced my elemental damage. And even though it hits stuff occasionally, it's still not providing a ton of lifesteal. So I think that the Blazemander experiment, as I predicted, has, the outcome is you shouldn't buy Blazemander on the Masochist, because you don't want any of the stuff it provides. Though if we get an ice cube, if we get a fried rice, anything like that, we could still be happy that we have it. Made almost 600 materials this wave. Our max HP is a little low, but I still will take the injection. Pickup radius is actually quite good on this character that uses consumable healing as a big chunk of its healing. Here, I'll just take 3 more armor on a spiky shield build. You should pretty much always take armor whenever you see it in this game. On a spiky shield build, you should take armor even more highly. And on the Masochist that wants to take hits from enemies, you should build armor even more highly. So anytime you see armor on this character, just pick it up. Awesome to get some consumable healing there. Very happy with that. Warrior Helmet is amazing for this character as well. I could take the Peaceful Bee. The dodge is okay. The harvesting is also okay. We don't care about losing melee or ranged damage. I guess let's take it. And then Scared Sausage I could take as well in case we do find some fire synergy items. So those would be Ice Cube, which scales off of doing elemental damage to enemies. Fried Rice, which would give us regen, or Greek Fire, which could let us kill bosses faster. I think for 57, it's still too expensive, though, so I'm going to pass. I'll buy the Fertilizer. Increasing enemy damage is usually pretty dangerous on the Masochist, but we have Blood Donation, so we can scale our damage even if we don't take hits. So the Peacock, I think, is basically free here. So I need to take a bunch of damage at the start of the wave. I'm taking as many instances of damage as I can to scale my damage against the elite. Also need to kill this healer alien, and I'd love to take out the loot alien as well, but killing the elite is what really matters here. So you can see I'm taking some hits, but we've got enough regeneration that we can stay alive, and as my damage increases over the course of the wave, we were able to get strong enough to kill the elite very easily. We do have a lure, so there's at least one more loot alien spawning. I need to keep an ear out for the whistle, which just happened. We might get one more at 5 seconds to the end of the wave. They do spawn on the 5-second marks. So there might be one more, but there wasn't. And it is kind of nice with the whistle that you know that can happen. So you don't, or you know whether that happens or not. Normally, in that spot, I would be running around at the 5-second mark looking for a loot alien and then maybe not finding it, but we just didn't get the audio cue, so we knew there wasn't one. Exoskeleton, this is amazing. This is all stats that we want really badly, so we'll take it, of course. I'll take the book, even though it doesn't do anything for us right now. We have some decent engineering just from the exoskeleton, and this is a unique level 1 item for Fairy, if we happen to find that. I'll just take 4 regeneration here, and then I'm going to reroll this and take just some more attack speed. My attack speed still could definitely use some work. I'll finally upgrade my spiky shields and my peacock. Community support costs us 2 armor. It does give us attack speed, which we want really badly. So this is effectively -2 armor for usually somewhere between 10 and 20% attack speed for 160. I think that's just not worth it, even on this character that uses it a little better. I've really come down on community support over time. I think that it's a weapon or an item that actually most characters should avoid picking up. We'll take the lure and the lost duck here, and then we'll lock these other 2 items as well, and go straight to the next wave. You can see, like, in this wave, for example, community support is so far, on average, about 10 attack speed. There's rarely more than 10 enemies alive at once. And 10 attack speed for -2 armor for 160 materials is just not a good trade. So that's why I think that item is actually a lot weaker than it looks. And although I used to consider it a very strong item, and I would take it very highly, I think you're better off not taking community support most of the time. Though, of course, I appreciate the support of the community very much. So, you know, hit that like button. And there you go. You see, with 5 seconds left in the wave, we got that last loot alien spawn. And thanks to our whistle, we knew it was there and could just run off and kill it. I'll take the incendiary turret here. It's very cheap, and again, we might get fire synergy items. Do I want 2 HP for -3 attack speed? Our HP is a little on the low side, so I think I will take the defective steroids here, and then I'll just take the 6 health and then 3 armor. We'll buy both of these, and we'll roll, take some more armor and some more lifesteal, and we'll roll again. Loot Worm, kind of nice for this character. It will kill trees for us, which we do want. You should pretty much buy every point of regeneration that you see on the Masochist. Now, we have a lot at this point, so I don't need the campfire as badly. Scaling our elemental damage does help a little bit with our Blazemander, but is still going to be negative. So I think we'll pass on the campfire here. We'll reroll, and we'll buy the goldfish, mostly for fun, but obviously we want to buy it anyways. And Gobbler's Hat and Bloody Hand we're going to take here. These are 2 amazing items to find at this point. Bloody Hand, similar to Blood Donation, is excellent for the Masochist because it just gives you 5 damage every second. Now, having 2 of these items, you still only get 5 damage every second because it does 1 instance of 2 damage rather than 2 of 1 damage. So you only get 1 trigger of your passive, no matter how many damage over time items you have. But given that we've been buying a lot of lifesteal and we want a lot of lifesteal, Bloody Hand is incredible. It is an extremely rare build that doesn't want to take Bloody Hand. It's one of the most efficient items in the game in terms of the stats for the cost. So I do see people sometimes question picking up Bloody Hand, but you get so much for what you spend on it. Even on characters other than the Masochist. And the damage over time, there's a few builds where that can be a danger to you if you are really, really low health or have really poor healing in that particular run. But for most builds, if you've been building defensive stats appropriately, taking 1 damage per second will not change whether you're in danger from enemies or not. Yeah, I'll take the rat. We'll take a coffee for sure. And then here, I could take 12% damage. It just means fewer ticks of damage before we reach positive. I could take 15 attack speed. I could roll for armor. We could also just build dodge. We're at 25 dodge already. Let's reroll and see what we get. I don't really need more max HP. I'll roll again here, and then I think I'm going to take 15 luck. I actually do want to increase my luck quite a bit. We'll take 3% lifesteal here, because we're about to buy Bloody Hand, and so the lifesteal is also a huge damage increase. And then we'll buy those 3 items that we had locked. The Gobbler's Hat, I do need to fix my move speed. Oh yeah, that's actually an argument not to roll for dodge last level up as well, because we were about to buy -10 dodge. I do need to fix my move speed now, but Gobbler's Hat is so much money that, of course, we want to pick it up. So I'm going to walk into the Elite a few times just so we can build our percent damage faster. And you can see here, we're taking a bunch of hits, but we have such high healing that it all comes back almost immediately. And you know, we're just we're 30 seconds into the wave, and we're already 200, almost 300% damage higher than we were before, than we were at the start of the wave. So that's why this character, you don't really have a problem building percent damage. Obviously, it's a little easier given that we found the damage over time items, but the Masochist, you should have high enough defenses that you're able to build up your percent damage, and once you do, this character is ridiculously strong. Just gonna drink some coffee here. Gotta stay caffeinated to make sure that we're running into enemies as much as we can. Potato, this is great. This is all stats that we want, because this character can use pretty much every stat. So items like Potato, items like Candy Bag are really good for the Masochist, because you're happy with any stat that you get. Although we didn't take it in the shop, we'll take Campfire from a box. We'll pick up 2 more armor and 3 more regeneration here. Really easy. Take the plant. Glass Cannon. Usually I would never buy this on a Spiky Shield build. We're kind of close to just being at 0% damage at the start of a wave. And we have 40 armor. I think I will buy the Glass Cannon here. It's a little odd to, of course, to reduce our armor on a Spiky Shield build, but we've ended up with so much that I think we can get away with it. We'll take the Pearl, we'll take the Weird Food, we'll roll. I'll buy another Potato, we'll buy Jerky, and again, at full price, I think we're passing on the Campfire, especially because I need to fix my movement speed. But now our weapons just hit for a ton of damage, even just at the start of the wave, because we've fixed our percentage damage. And any hits we take from this point are just gravy. The fun thing about this character, and I think that this is something that Brotato does really well in general, is every character in the game teaches you something about the game. When you try to play the character, it gives you the characters are designed to teach you something new about the game. And something that's fun about the Masochist is it teaches you a bunch of things. Firstly, it teaches you the value of defensive stats, because you can quickly reach the point where you're not taking damage from enemies. Even though Terrified Onion's fairly inefficient. We're going to buy it here because we need the move speed. I will take Ugly Tooth. That'll help us catch up. But the other thing that it teaches you is enemy attack patterns, because you're trying deliberately to run into the enemies, which actually makes it easier to learn how the enemies move than when you're trying to avoid them. Because when you're trying to avoid them, you're acting reactively, and your brain is worse at processing that. Whereas when you're trying to run into them, you're acting proactively, and so you have to predict what they're doing. So it's a really sneaky way of teaching the player how enemies attack. I took the dodge there because I do think we are going to end up building up to 60 dodge. We'll take Candy Bag as well. I just mentioned how this is a good item for the character, and I love this item. I think this is the best design of the new items in the game. Don't have any use for Plastic Explosive here. We'll buy all of these, though. I guess I did have a spicy sauce, so we do have some explosion damage, but it's just not a big part of our plan. We'll take the lumberjack shirt. I do need more movement speed, so I'll buy the wings. Do I want the compass as well? I think wings will just be enough, so I'll pass on that. I will take the ritual, though, because percent damage and lifesteal are both good, and lifesteal is percent damage for this character. I guess buying plant there actually did, because we have Bloody Hand, it decreased our damage, so I wasn't thinking about that. I probably would have still bought it anyways, but should definitely have considered the Bloody Hand. So our Blazemander is only dealing 6 damage per burn pick, because I haven't built a lot of elemental damage. I think that the Blazemander is still just not where we want to be. Even though, obviously, it doesn't matter in this run. We're playing one of the strongest characters in the game, and we got triple bag early, so we're kind of guaranteed to win. Yeah, we'll take the med kit here. Just incredible healing. I could take 4% lifesteal. That's also a bunch of damage from our Bloody Hand. But let's actually take 12 dodge. Let's just try to get to dodge cap. Just to cap out all our stats, because I think that's fun. And here, I'll take 8% damage. I want to get that to be naturally positive as well. Try to get rid of the red stats. We'll buy all of those. We don't need a wheelbarrow at this point. Let's roll here. Catling Gun, on the other hand, so the Blazemander I don't think is very good, because it's not doing that much. Catling Gun will apply lifesteal more often, so I am going to take that. Okay, I'll take the fuel tank, not because we would buy it just because it's cursed. But also, now I have a sub-goal of getting rid of our red stats here. Do I care about locking any of these? I think we just don't really need these items in particular, so I'm just going to pass on all of them. Okay, we did get double elite from the candy bag. At the start of the wave, our damage is decent, but not amazing, but we just have to make it 20 seconds or so into the wave, and you can see our damage has skyrocketed. I didn't see the shark charge there. It looked like it just teleported. It was like right here, and then it just appeared over there. I must have just lost track of it visually, but I guess if it did just teleport, go, let me know, because that was kind of weird. I'm sure it just slid past me and I was looking at something else, but usually I don't lose track of the enemies like that. Losing an armor every wave, of course, is not exactly what you want on this character, but 20% damage and attack speed, and 100 range is not bad either, so I'll take the Ashes. It's going to cost us 3 armor, but I think that's okay. Jetpack gets us a bunch of move speed and gets me almost to dodge cap. I'll take the Claw Tree, because now we can build crit damage, now that we've kind of stabilized our other stats. And Obviously, the armor's the correct pick here, but I'm going to take the ranged damage just to get everything into green. We'll buy Treasure Map. With only 2 waves left where this matters, it will probably still pay off, because we're very likely to get enough crates that it'll be good. We'll buy the Ghost outfit here, again, reducing our armor, but we can get to 70 dodge, and that's just really fun. We'll take the Gentle Alien, Fishhook, and Spiky Shield. I'll buy sunglasses as well, and we'll buy the Power Generator, lock a Propeller Hat, and then reroll, because I want to lock more stuff. We'll lock a Spiky Shield as well. If we get a cursed one of those with our Fishhook, that'll be great. Come on, Elite Spawn. Dang. One of the reasons I love Candy Bag so much is that it's a modal item. You go at the beginning from really hoping it doesn't spawn an Elite to at the end really hoping it does spawn an Elite. And I think that's just a cool marker of an item that's fun to play with. Is that you're emotionally connected to what it's doing at every stage in the game, but what you want it to do is different at different stages in the game, which is both satisfying to play with, because it's a good feeling to be like, now I'm strong enough that I wish another Elite would spawn, and just a fun change in how you think about an item. I'll take the Celery Tea. Enemy health doesn't really matter going into wave 19. We'll take the padding here. I have reduced my armor quite a bit, so I'd like to find some more. So I'm going to reroll just a few times to try to find armor. But I'll also take 12% dodge. We'll go up to 72 dodge here. Didn't get anything cursed, but we will keep upgrading our weapons. We'll buy a Broken Mouth. I'll reroll. Don't really care about any of these items, so I'll roll again. I'll keep upgrading my Spiky Shield. We'll buy another Catling Gun just for fun. And then Extra Stomach sadly won't do anything. Adrenaline is nice. We have a lot of dodge, so that's a lot of healing. And then we'll buy a Spiky Shield as well. And I'll lock these 2 items. They're not ones that I'm super excited by, but we have Fishhook, so if they get cursed, we'll buy them for sure. So this is a Celery Tea wave, of course, so enemies have extra health. The reason that I thought Celery Tea was good to buy here is that I think it'll help us hit level 30. I don't think we'd have quite gotten there without it, but with it, we're going to hit level 30 for sure. Actually, we probably would have gotten there, so maybe we didn't need it. I also was going to buy it no matter whether it was good or not, just because we're so strong. It's kind of fun to just style on the enemies at this point. But yeah, we definitely would have hit 30 without it, so... We might actually hit 31. We have a lot of harvesting. So we're going to get fairly close to 31 anyways. Alright, so it did get us an extra level. It's not a super important level, but it's still a good one. We'll take Terrified Onion. We have a Power Generator, and that's worth more damage than the Pearl costs us. We have tons of regeneration, so even though we have damage over time items, we can still buy the Hourglass. We will be able to regenerate out of having 1 HP, no problem. So great find there. We'll take a Metal Plate. Piggy Bank, I will just recycle still. It is a level 2 item that we can pull out of the pool, but I'd rather just get rid of it here. We'll take 12% damage, and then here I'm going to roll for armor. Because I've reduced my armor quite a bit, I actually do want to increase it more. And then I'll roll here, and roll again. I guess I'll just take 2 lifesteal, that's fine. Alright, 0 cursed items again. So the Fishhook has gone, what, 0 for... Yeah, it's 0 for, like, 10? Because it's on a 30% pity bonus. No, 0 for 6 on a 30% pity bonus. We'll take the Adrenaline. We'll buy this. I won't buy the wings here. We don't need the move speed. Let's roll. I'll take 19% crit chance on our Cursed Sunglasses. That's just fun. And then we'll keep upgrading our spiky shield. We'll buy Cyclops Worm. I'll take more consumable healing and more percentage damage. And then we'll roll a couple more times, try to find stuff to lock for our fishhook. Didn't really get there, and we don't need the recycling machine going into wave 20, so we'll just pass. And the fishhook will remain shamefully useless this entire last set of waves. I do need to remember I'm going to have 1 HP at the start of this wave. Oh, and we did get a candy bag elite spawn. Fortunately, we have enough HP that it was not dangerous at all. But we have taken it out now. So one thing I'm actually not sure of is if the celery tea that we bought is still increasing enemy health. Because a lot of wave modifiers do stick around after you have Hourglass. So, for example, if we had rolled a candy... Like, if we get another Hourglass here, we'll always get the elite spawn from the candy bag. And can even get more elite spawning from the candy bag if we keep rolling Hourglasses. And if we'd bought bait or lure, those enemies would still show up this wave. But I'm not sure if that holds true for celery tea or peacock. We don't need these stats, so I'll just recycle that. We'll just recycle that as well. Reroll here and reroll again. Oh, I should have just taken the lifesteal, actually. We'll just take 10 luck. I don't care about capping my move speed. These stats are good. We'll take the shackles. We'll take the bat here, and then I will roll. I'll take a bait and some more regeneration and armor. Cursed spiky shield. We finally got one. Dangerous bunny is actually probably close to paying off if I buy it here. It saves us 35 immediately and discounts our future rerolls. I don't think it quite will, so I'm not going to buy it, but it's actually closer than you'd think to being good there. Here we will upgrade another cursed shield, and my move speed is capped at 29, but we are under that, and we have power generator, so I'll buy the beanie here. We have positive knockback. Let's take coil and bat for more damage, and I'll reroll. And another fishhook that can be shamefully useless, and a spiky shield, which we'd have been pretty happy with, and then we'll go to the next wave. Another candy bag spawn. Oh, no, wait. No, that's just the normal boss. Like, I forgot we didn't have an hourglass. I thought we were going to wave 19. And there we go. We have killed the bosses. And, you know, I did so much disrespect to them, I forgot they were the bosses. I also just looked over out my window as we won this, and there is a truly unbelievable sleet storm coming down. So, glad to be inside playing video games and having just won. All right, so taking a look at our items here, 1335 on the triple bag. Obviously, if you get triple bag early, your run is going to be golden no matter what. This is probably still the single best item in the game. Blazemander actually did 32k damage, so it wasn't amazing, but it wasn't embarrassing either. I still don't think you actually want this item on this character, but or with this build, but it was better than I thought it would be in terms of just total damage output. 423 saved on coupon. We got 40 regeneration from our baby squids, 0 damage dealt from Sunken Bell, which only went off once, and that was when we bought the hourglass, and nothing had spawned yet. 17k on spicy sauce. As usual, this item doesn't do much damage. You only buy it if you need HP. Our rat dealt 24k. Not bad for a rat we got really late. And the cats actually dealt 36k. Also not bad for an item we got really late. And we mostly bought these to use with the lifesteal. What else? Our fishhook was embarrassing. We ended up at level 33 at the end there, because we got the hourglass, which obviously is always a fun one. We actually got 14 healing off the adrenaline with our 70 dodge chance, and we just ended up with a truly ridiculous stat line at the end of this game, 120 regeneration, and 134 damage before having taken any damage with the Masochist. That's why this is such a powerful character. Alright, my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this run, and of course, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit that like button. You know, community support, maybe not a good item, but I really appreciate it from you. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.